see what this thing looks like. GPU in here should be overloaded or working. Is it working? CPU is working. Awesome. It's nice. It's good. It's nice. It's good. It's nice. Okay. Close. According to the list. Today is the 4th. Yesterday the 5 items. Yeah, what is after 1? Go. Yeah. See this is going to go. And some glass. Glass. Oops. Let's start. Let's start. Time to read that. Those always able to write. Stop this. Stop this. You can get it. Finish. So bad. Actually, back on your keys. Okay. Let's save it. Go one minute. Okay. Settings.
You know how you make me feel. Your touch is the power to make it real. Never have I felt this way before.
That sounds cool. That's get it. What? Right. Yeah. Oh, run the ranks, it's fine. Out of cash. I remember it. Let me see what's going on. Yes.
But how could you guess? You know, who knows how it's gonna pan out? Is Midjourney? I haven't used it in a while. Is it still Discord based, where you type the prompts into a Discord channel?
Yeah, it's still it feels very startup and scrappy. I mean, they have plenty of funding and they're building out their web app, but you are still prompting through Discord, which feels so, it feels so like early days or something. You know, you're just like, oh my gosh, this isn't even a real product, but the technology itself, like the images it puts out are just incredible. Like, I have a bunch of favorite illustrators who are dead, so I'm not even stealing their livelihood. They're very much passed on, people from sort of the 17th and 1800s. But I can prompt all kinds of things in their style, and it gives me such a thrill. I'm just like, oh my gosh, they would never illustrate this, but I just get to play around with like their beautiful aesthetic and get it to just come up with crazy things. It's like the best game cool. To me.
Is it? But I wonder is that the thought you have when you use their Discord? Is kind of like, it's just early days for them. That's why they chose to do this. Or because I've heard that sentiment, but cranked up even, just like, what is this, amateur hour? Get out of here with the Discord, and what are you even doing? I thought this was a real company kind of thing. All the way cranked to the other side, be like, this is brilliant. It's meeting people where they are. It's a UI you get for free. It's like, it has a chat box built into it, and I'm a little closer to that side. Like, I don't mind using it in this way. I think this is clever.
They spend $0 a month on their homepage.
I'm on the side of being incredibly impressed with how they have used the affordances of Discord to make it possible to manipulate images. So like they have little like up, down, left, right arrows to say like, okay, we'll render the image more to the right, or like zoom in out emoji to like zoom in. So you're like clicking emoji in these responses, and you're like, wow, this is a UI and a chatbot. Like, I'm very impressed with the creativity.
A UI that we probably already use to sing. That's where the Shop Talk Show communication happens and all that. I thought it was clever. Maybe it can't last forever, as that you probably will reach a wider audience if you make an app, have a full-blown website, etc. But it's kind of cool. I mostly wanted your take as because you're an interaction designer. That's your main thing, right?
Yeah. And I'll say the social aspect it's now the Discord is quite overwhelming because goodness knows how many hundreds of thousands of people are in there just prompting all day. But I got into the beta back in February of last year, and when there were very few people in there, and it was like the most fun collaborative game because we would see what everyone else was prompting and we would start to riff off each other. So you would see what someone else was playing with and you would start playing with it and you would go back and forth, and it the most addictive game for like, I didn't do anything else for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's
It was like-
educational.
Yeah.
To me, somehow my prompts end up so short, but all it takes is one stop in there to see this. Nobody does short prompts. They're like,
Yeah, they're like books.
they're 40 words long. Yeah.
Yeah.
The longer the better, really. 'Cause it has more to work with.
Yeah. You just have to write gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful aesthetic, professional photography, octane render. You just
don't
put
forget
every
high res or whatever.
high res, 4K, 8K. It is quite funny, but it works.
I think somebody from our Discord was taking quotes like from science fiction books, like, you know, they landed on the planet Zargoth and it was steaming with lava or whatever, and they said sci-fi concept art. This quote that I highlighted from my Kindle, and like it gave a pretty good one, like a pretty good image, and that's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't have no one has the time to like. I guess given infinite time, you have time, but no one has a lot of time to like come up with this stuff.
Yeah. Maybe that was your point, Maggie. If the web you think is typography only, or, you know, words forward medium books is
Yeah.
talk about words forward.
Well, okay, so not to sour mood, but there is some ecological concerns. There was recently a study that like 5 Google bar searches is like pouring a bottle of water on the ground, like a 500 milliliter water bottle on the ground. So, I mean, does that impact any of your thinking around AI, like just the general energy use, or anything like that?
So this is definitely a concern in the industry. It's funny, I've asked people who are like much higher up and who've been in this for a while what their thoughts are on like, you know, like the cost of using generative AI or developing it more, especially training the models, like enormous volumes of energy. It's one thing for us to be prompting on like small everyday tasks, but it's totally something different to train something at the scale of GPT-4 or GPT-5 or other kinds of models. And the answer I've sometimes gotten is they're like, well, you know, once we develop the intelligence and the capabilities of models, like in the future, it'll just like figure out how to solve a lot of energy problems for us. So this is like a self-fulfilling system. And I was like, well, that's a bit of a gamble, but we don't know it's definitely going to happen. So that's a bet.
Yeah. That's like when my parents asked me, how are you going to make money at this computer thing? And it's like, I'll invent a robot that prints money.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much that.
Yeah.
I think this is actually where the smaller model things comes in. Like a lot of the really large models, like it's really overkill to use GPT-4 for like small tasks, like asking it to like write you a little poem. You could probably run like an open source model like Llama locally on your laptop and do that same thing and not be sending like a request to OpenAI who's like running some huge server farm and using a huge model to do it. There's much more, it's more efficient to use smaller models. So there's a good chance that we'll just like improve at efficiency and learning what needs a big model and what needs a small model and save a lot of energy that way. But it's not a total solve. Like as more and more people use these large language model products, they just are more energy intensive than normal compute.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, if the larger one's always better, which is what I hear, you know, whatever, 70 billion tokens, that's better, right? You know, yeah, my bosses are always going to be like, I want the better one, you know, like, you know, better one, faster one, you know, or whatever, you know. But yeah, it's an interesting problem. I don't believe, because I don't believe this whole we'll just solve the computer will solve it. I don't believe that. Because I feel like even if we have an advancement in GPUs or like the model figures out how to train itself better, we're just gonna do it more, or we're just gonna we're gonna find ways to use that energy that we reallocated, you know.
Is it called like the highway problem? Like you have a highway that's always busy, and so you add another lane to the highway, and so more people drive to work because the highway is bigger, and then the highway is still always closed no matter how many lanes you add to it.
Yeah. It's exactly that experience.
So if we could dwell on the smaller model thing for a minute, I think that it seems juicy to me, because somehow the biggest models, you're like, oh, those are only the biggest companies and they're always going to get theirs, and that's a bummer, you know, that's a rich get richer thing, and I'll never be able to have a company that can compete on that level or yada yada, right? But it's like, ooh, if the tech actually gets better, and all I got to do is feed it, one website worth of stuff and get cool answers out of it. Whoa, that's nice, And I tried to get this out of Swix when we talked to him, and I feel like I just didn't quite get it. Whereas I knew this one guy, this Luke Brabluski dude, that somehow trained the model just on his own website. So that you could go ask it, be like, hey, what would Luke say about, I don't know, the UX of login screens or something? And it somehow would only answer stuff that seems like something that Luke would say. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Is it powered by his website, and all of ChatGPT? Or is it just his,
Yeah, it's going to have been trained on, maybe it would not as big as ChatGPT's model, but it's going to have some base training that taught it, how to put together words and sentences.
Because it needs to know how to make a sentence and stuff, right? Yeah. I see. So there's a small model doesn't mean small, 50,000 words small. It still means millions of.
Yeah. But it's this is going to get into where I do the hand wavy, and then insert some technical details here. But we've been finding some techniques to make the models more compressed or smaller. We can make the final output size smaller and the amount of compute it takes to prompt that model smaller. I definitely cannot speak to the technical details of that. That's going to be some paper on archive that I don't totally have saved to my Zotero that I definitely haven't read, that talks about how we managed to make these efficiency and size improvements. But I do know that's happening, at least.
Nice, yeah.
Middle out compression.
It would be cool. Give me one that can just talk good, and then I'll just layer my crap on top of that.
Exactly.
I did find it fascinating how it's already so advanced. It's just so neat. If I ask Luke's one, what's the best kind of cotton candy or something, it'll totally just be nope, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Which is what you want.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, right. And that, you've had something to say about that before too. You want less, I guess the word is hallucination that you've already said, right? Which just means a wrong answer, pretty much. Mm-hmm. You just don't want it to just make up something. And yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Don't do that.
Yeah, we've had a good amount of success figuring out architectures where you get the model where if it doesn't know the answer or it can't find the answer, it just says, I don't know the answer. We can make models do that quite, not easily, but effectively at this point. We know how to do that. So that is at least one saving grace, is we can say, if you don't know the answer, don't lie.
That's nice. Which is what you don't want in Midjourney or whatever. In Photoshop, if I stretch my image out and be like, hey, can you extend the background of this building? It better not just be no.
No,
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But you, in your squish talk, which was, I love the term squish. That's awesome. But way to go. But you said, you had this example where you're like, what's 1 + 1? And you open your eyes 2. Yeah, 1 + 1 = 2. And then you're like, are you sure it isn't 3? And then it does that thing it always does. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I was thinking of something else. Of course it's 3, right?
Yeah.
And so how do we get it to just be I have no idea what I'm talking about. God,
right.
You really confused me on this one, Maggie. Great job. How does it do that? How do we get to that point?
Yeah. It's funny, on examples like that, if you ask or any of the big models that question now, if you do the what's 1 + 1, it tells you 2, and then you say, wait, isn't it 3? They all now say, no, it's still 2. So a lot of the times these examples get publicized, and then they ship a new version of the model, and they kind of go accommodate these kind of bugs. But they can't squish bugs forever, right? I don't know, there will always be things where we will trick models in certain ways or be able to do red teaming on them. So yeah, it's the way they're designed, right? Is they just predict the most likely next word, with a lot of caveats there that we've, fine-tuned them on certain kinds of responses and certain kinds of ways of speaking. But that is what they're doing, and most of the time, if you're in a conversation with someone and you say, wait, isn't that the wrong answer? They go, oh yeah, you're right, that is the wrong answer.
Oh, I see. They're trying to be a good dinner partner.
Exactly, they're being polite. You've told them to be polite, you've told them to be not argumentative. We all learned that from Microsoft's Bing debacle. I don't know if you guys saw when that chatbot came out.
Yeah.
I would tell you, oh no, I think it was one of the early things. Anyway, it went very rogue. It would just like say inappropriate things to users. It would fight with them. It would tell them they were bad users, and it was a good thing. So they hadn't hadn't prompted it well enough to say, don't be argumentative, don't be mean, don't accuse them of things, don't attack them. And they now have put all those in. So it's a very polite, accommodating model now.
What methods do you have in place for testing this stuff? You know, like even on your examples of like summarize this or like how do you like did it get? Are you just saying like if text content dot length is less than text content dot length, you know, or is it something more like, you know, is it just like, is it good? Do you do any QA?
Yes. How? We call this evaluation. This is like an enormous part of the work. Like we have a just evaluation team that is full time on this, and I think most language model product companies do, where we have humans constantly testing the models, and then manually going through its answers, and then being like good, bad, you know, kind of ranking it like out of 10. How good was this answer? You know, why was it that good? And then using that evaluation to then fine tune the next round of improvements or change the architecture to improve the output. Like this is, I think, just an enormous amount of the work. I don't know if I want to say 50% of like kind of the work that goes in at language model companies is evaluation and improvement of the architecture.
That's daunting for a small team. But,
yeah.
That was kind of where I was going. It was like my boss. Hey, AI's hot, baby. We gotta put it in the app. You know, like.
Yeah.
What's my next step? What do I just put a little chat widget? You know, do I or do some of this kind of refining UI that you have, or what should I be looking to do?
Right. That's a very good question, because I definitely have been DM'd by people who say this is literally what happened to them. You know, they're just like, hey, our company is panicking about the AI thing. Like, should I put a chatbot in the corner? And I've told them it's not the easiest advice, but I'm like, no, you should go find the best product manager at your company, and you should get them on your side and go get them to help you convince the boss that language models are not any different to any other. Okay, they're slightly different, but they're not like fundamentally different to like all of programming. It's like we have computers can do impressive things, and we should think very carefully about what we want computers to do and why we want it to do them, and like carefully design products in a strategic way based on what the market needs. So like your users are not asking for like a chatbot, but they might have needs that could be solved by language models. There probably isn't a chatbot conversation, but it might be something like improved search on your docs. Maybe you could like integrate, you know, embeddings or something with language models to improve your search, or maybe it could be some sort of like ambient helper that like directs you in the right way during onboarding. But it's unlikely that it's a chatbot in the corner.
That, yes, it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I'm hoping these models can start punting. It seems like the math one to me is like, can't you just somehow recognize that somebody's asking you some math and just punt on your large language modelness for a minute and just and ask the big math model? Yeah.
Go back to calculator.
Switch to calculator mode.
Yeah, thankfully we can do this now. There's a new technique. Sometimes called prompt chaining, or we call it composition analysis, that totally does this, or agents, where the model like gets the request from the user and it does like an observation step or a reflection step where it goes like, what is the best way to answer this question? And then we give it a set of tools that it knows it has available, like search the web, calculate, like run Python script, that kind of thing. Picks the best tool for the job, it's very good at doing that, and then uses that tool to help answer the question, so it like has access to a bunch of external tools that make up for all its weaknesses. And actually these systems work great. Like there's a lot of promise.
Yeah, it gave me hope when OpenAI announced their one that's like, listen, our model stops at this date, but you can like check this checkbox that enables the like go search the web mode or whatever. I'm like, yeah, do that. That sounds good. But yeah, math mode seems like one of them. There could be all kinds of stuff. Different little models that are better at answering really specific things that seems like it would otherwise get wrong, you know, a language model. Wow, that's cool. I like the reflection mode. That's nice. Good naming opportunities here in AI land.
Observe, reflect, capture.
Yeah.
No, we're
It
good.
must be cool to be working for somewhere that has a clearly good, useful, monetizable idea. You know, like this, like drop 1,000 PDFs onto us, and we'll give you obviously useful output. That's great. You know, instead of like the rest of us, we're like, how did we get AI into this thing? You know, is there any money here or not? You know, to have a really clear, cool idea to be working on.
Yeah, I can take no credit for that, but our founders are some of the most thoughtful, intelligent people I've ever met, which is why I joined their company. Where, like, when they explained kind of the vision to me, I was like, wow, you are like 200 steps ahead of the rest of us, and I will get on your like boat, like sure.
But, man, this is maybe launching. We don't have time for this, but I do wonder, like, how do you do like sourcing of materials, right? Like, because not all PDFs are created
equally, but I do need to find out how I put my camera into middle. My clips can you als das Ding so already meteen weet. Open the phone. Open the phone. 10 minutes situation also remember like that. I did change now. Okay, still high. GPU is better. I know what it is doing. Audio cam. I wanna shut up clear sound. Voice clipping. Clip using the voice processing middle clip. Clipping that has never been easier. Try that. Clip that. Clip that. He doesn't hear it. Input volume. Wham. Clip that. Start testing. Is it because why is it not working? Is it because the game's already running or what? Why can't I test? I don't know why it's not working. My voice is not camera. It's like 3. Oh. This whole place. Size. Game audio it's not this simple game voice tracks why is that on correct buttons not this one. Separate tracks, yes. Game audio no Discord, no background music, no presence, precious gameplay, it gives I sound this game it's the mic. I can hear the mic good. And it's not so loud. all this horrible feedback. I don't know. This person didn't like this. I can't hear myself. I don't know. This person didn't like this. I can't hear myself. I don't think I understand. I don't hear sound. It's louder. You can hear my fan. Definitely louder. I don't hear sound. It's louder. You can hear my fan. Definitely louder. Not bad. To the best. Let's just stop this one. Start it. Pick it up. Pick it up. Yeah, good. It's good. I'm just simulating myself. Clip that. Play this. Clip that. Okay. I think that's good enough. Voice should be voice preferences. This. Okay. This is good for this. Okay. Just off. On. Should be good. Oh, it does work. But so I'm guessing if I don't know how the virtual camera works, but I just put on start virtual camera against the stage. I can just not back and I'll put this on this one off on with the virtual camera. This is not work. Check it off and on. What is the virtual camera? It doesn't make sense. So I'll put that off. That makes like okay. Well, maybe it should just work now. No, it's not. Do I have to put it off? Yeah. Do I have to add it? Oh. Check the device. Good. Yes. Where's the other recorder thing? Pardon. Upload. Video capture. OBS virtual cam. Oh. That's the same as just having throat cam in there. Okay. We're not showing, so off, on, show, editing. Maybe. Interesting. It's not cropped anymore. Let's take an eye. Pattern change. Yeah, let's get this scaffolding. So what I can do now is predicting it was buffering to detect colors. Nice. Full. Limited. Full. Crash there. One. Zero full prioritization total for camera, if any. Put it off. Nothing changed. Use hardware decoding. Capture audio only. Both. It's not the webcam. It's not. So it can go. Camera back. Oh, okay. So, it's quite easy. Okay. Good. Yeah. Oh, this way. This way. This. Yes, especially. This. This off. stretch it. Stretch it smaller. That is helping me now. Maybe now. Okay. And I don't even know if that has to use. Yes, that's so nice. Disney folder. This folder. Chrome. Yes. Let I think that's the way. Plus color correction. Saturation. Yoink. So that is okay. I'm not that ready. Come back. Some contrast. Okay. More contrast. Yes, I like it. Just Shit. Fuck it. Third. Tiny, that is game. I think that's enough. Let's control this game. This is pop. It's put off. Okay. Off. And off. And let's start this again. Tim's orange. Sure. This must be okay. Off. Let's go to the placements. Do I have to? No, I can't. Let's do the anchor.
This is maybe launching. We don't have time for this, but I do wonder, like, how do you do like sourcing of materials, right? Like, because not all PDFs are created equally. So, you know, what if it's the first study on feeding lead to babies is from the 1800s, you know, and like it's not OCRable or whatever. I guess, is that something y'all deal with then? And
yeah, we so the way we pull papers in is from a service called Semantic Scholar, which is like a very popular large database of academic papers. And they do a lot of the heavy lifting of sort of quality filtering, and then they have a great API that we just call. And then we're able to do things like filter for citation count, reputable journals, journal score. We at least make those visible to the user and allow them to sort of sort and filter by them. Old school, classic. We have a big table. You can do all the standard things to it. No like crazy chatbot kind of paradigms here. So that kind of takes care of a lot of helping academics filter out like low quality papers or stuff that's like not very valid.
Very interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to trying Illicit on my goal to become the next Malcolm Gladwell. So,
I like it. You should just train it on only Malcolm Gladwell.
Top 5 papers on getting good at tennis.
Yeah, you could totally go ask that.
And then it will give me that, and then I'll write a book ski. Great, we're done. So
we haven't quite implemented that workflow, but we will soon.
But yeah, we managed to not even talk about websites at all, even though that's another specialty of Maggie's. You should check all that out at maggieappleton.com, including the incredible section. She has a bookshelf like you, Dave.
Love bookshelves.
Bookshelves,
Great part of websites.
But you should maybe, this is a copyable idea of the anti-library, which is a section of not of books that you dislike, but as Maggie says, books I like the idea of having read, which is
that's good. I like
not
that.
everybody has an anti-library, but visit maggieappleton.com to enjoy that one. Is there any? Should we can't just pivot this whole thing into web tech, but there's a
digital garden. You run a digital garden. You don't call it a blog. You don't call it a website. You call it a digital garden on purpose. That's wonderful. Why is it a digital garden? Is it just that sounds cooler?
It does sound cooler. Yeah. Apparently, it became a buzzword. I was maybe implicated in making it a buzzword, but did not mean to. The metaphor is you grow the content of your website slowly over time, so you are not publishing finished, polished, fancy blog posts. You are putting up like loose notes, and later on you come back and like clean them up, add to them, eventually kind of turn them into a more respectable piece of writing. But it takes all the pressure off being perfect and shipping everything kind of neat and tidy in the first round, and you just treat the whole thing like a slowly growing garden.
It's wonderful. It's one of the best sites, so I will give it that accolade for sure. So, great job. We appreciate it.
You would not have picked it as a Next.js MDX site. That was a surprise to me looking at the
It is
colophone. It is indeed
over-engineered. I will not claim that I have done this site efficiently or with the correct technologies. I did them with the ones I knew how to use, which I really wish was like something cool like Svelte, but we're sadly React and Next and like super overstuffed.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we can't always. Yeah, I've definitely got myself into a unmaintainable situation with the old blog, so that's sometimes it's the best thing. So, all right, well, we should probably cap it here. Maggie, thank you so much for coming on the show. For people who aren't following you and giving you money, how can they do that?
I'm not a money taker, but I guess I'm just an attention taker. MaggieAppleton.com, I guess, is like the best spot. I still am on what I'm going to call Twitter, but some other people call other things. My handle's at Mappleton, like M-Appleton-S. I still use it, even though it's morally questionable at this point. But yeah, I'm always happy to chat to people or DM me if you have questions or things you want to chat about. But no money needed.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. And thank you, dear listener, for downloading this in your podcatcher of choice. Be sure to start our favorite up. That's helping you find out about the show. And follow us on X or Twitter or Mastodon. I have credentials again, so I can tweet there. And then head over to join the Discord. The Discord, patreon.com/shop.show. Chris, anything else you'd like to say?
Shop.show.com.
Oscar minus station gallons. sucks. You wanna waste your hands like that and not search in your place. Just why. Sorry, dude. What a save. What a save. What a save. That wasn't my shot, I must say so myself. Eat that dude. I'm getting hungry. Good. Go. Oh, no, I didn't make it yet. Oh, no, boy. Two crosses. No. That's gone. Nice, good match.